Sky, you know what? I listened to your album last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went through the whole 30 tracks of it. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Still, very uplifting. Yeah. Chaos to consciousness sounds like a journey fulfilled more than one that's evolving. So tell me a little bit about what the inspiration behind the name of your latest album was.
Well, the full title is Fuck Yeah, Chaos Economy.
I was gonna say, but I thought I'd reserve that, for you to bring in.
Well, Fuck Yeah to me, just to put it in perspective, Fuck Yeah is like Star Wars in the perspective of the album, because there's many more albums to come. And Chaos to Consciousness is like Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? So there's like different little episodes, and so the first one is this 30-song album. But what the album means to me, it's truly my story. It comes from my heart, man. I mean, that's really what music is about. I feel great art comes from the heart from the start, and that's...
I did see that on your website.
Yeah, man, that's what I am. And so I had to dig deep in myself, because I've learned so much over my life. My dad's a very spiritual man. And so growing up, he taught me about all the world religions and different things like that. Taught me to meditate when I was 8. But then going to like 12 different schools, dropping out, never even getting a degree, living in my car, getting jumped into gangs and all these different things. The chaos and the consciousness has always been a duality in my life. And then going to starting this group LMFAO, and starting from nothing in this group, 3 people coming to our shows for a year or whatever, then all of a sudden blowing up and getting everything you want at your fingertips worldwide, and the world knows you. It was unbelievable. So after me and Fu parted ways, I had to dig deep in myself, to figure out who I was as a man and as a person, because I've been living this whole LMFAO thing for so long, which, Fu's older than me, so I really was writing songs for our brand and to impress him. But I never really did something else fully for me. You know what I mean? I think the closest song that was like a full kind of like my style was Shots. Because I'm aggressive. I'm a little different.
I get that. I'm gonna go to that in a minute.
You know what I mean? So, but this album, people. I'm not saying that I'm a guru just yet, but I'm definitely somewhere in the middle of chaos and consciousness, and I'm striving just to understand the meaning of life and to help enlighten myself and the people around me, the world, with my art.
I know you had a spiritual connection with this, the whole process of building this album. But I also know that preceding that you had a hiatus from obviously what you were doing before. We'll touch on that in a minute. But there was a period there, and I read that you had a few things that you had to kind of deal with that were quite dark, took you to a place. I want to know what those things were, if you could share any of them with us, and also how did that contribute to the creative process of pulling this album together?
I feel like, people don't really know the true story that happened in LMFAO. I released a post not too long ago that kind of spilled the beans a little bit. But I went through a lot of really hard times. I feel like I went through some shit, man, And instead of being upset and going after people and being like, all this stuff, I felt in myself that I wanted to make art that's so good, that's so great, that people respect me for who I am. On the set of Party Rock Anthem, one of the label people came up to me because I started dressing different. People don't really see this, but as you look, that's the first video that I don't wear lensless glasses. I'm wearing black glasses. I'm not wearing zebra prints. I'm wearing all black because I'm rebelling quietly because things weren't right, And so somebody brings me into the car and they're like, "You got to start wearing the uniform again, man. Your hair, everything. People only know you for your hair." And that struck a nerve inside of me. So a week later, I had E! Entertainment come to my house and I cut my hair off.
Wow.
And I said, the next time I grow my hair out, the world will know me for me, whether I got hair or not. Because, I'm out here to be great, and I don't feel like anybody else can set the bar for me. You know what I mean? And I had a bad back injury because my whole life I've been an athlete. You know, everybody thought I was gonna be a professional basketball player, baseball player, football player. I was being scouted when I was young. I've been doing martial arts since I was 3 years old, 5 different disciplines. Skateboarding.
What martial arts?
I started out Shotokan when I was 3 till I was like 15. Then I went to Bak Fu Pai, which is White Tiger Kung Fu. I was a close student disciple. And then I did capoeira for like 2 years. Then I did Xing Yi, which is one of the 5 internal styles, and then boxing.
So you were busy.
Yeah, busy. I mean, I'm a
What happened to your back, man? Because obviously I had a huge bearing on you not being so sporty, I guess.
Well, I feel that I was such an athlete when I was young. I mean, ridiculous. Like, fastest kid in every school I went, like, just super athlete. Then I went to touring, you know, and, you know, we started LMFAO, I was 20 years old. And I didn't keep up on my, you know, my lifestyle was, the way my body was used to things, and I was drinking every night and all this stuff. I fell off stage a few times, and I hit my spine on a metal bar, but like off a high stage. Then I just got back up, I drank some more, and I kept DJing.
Wow.
And I just kept doing all these things that gave me like a herniation in my back and a bunch of different things. And so towards the time me and Fu split off, it was like I could barely walk. And then actually the time that we ended up splitting off, I didn't walk for 3 months. I was on my back, and that happened to me 2 separate times.
Wow.
And so this whole process, and then just to be real honest, man, because I don't care, you know, the Rick Ross lawsuit and all these things, they took all my money away, you know, and I was getting ripped off anyway, you know, by other things. And so, you know,
Took a huge toll on you.
took a huge toll on me, and I had to tour with an injured back just to keep the lights on. You know what I mean? I actually had to pawn my gold jewelry just to mix half of this album you're hearing, you know? Because I don't care, man. I just love my art, you know? And, you know, it's crazy because you come from such a big group and the world knows you as LMFAO. It's actually kind of harder to become a solo artist after that, because people have such an expectation from you and they feel like they know who you are, so fuck whatever else you're saying, because I know who you are. You need to go back to do what you're doing. So you know, after me and Food parted ways, I dropped 2 albums for free.
I saw that, yeah.
Rebel Music and Weed. We
yeah.
evolve every day.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh, blessed. And then I created 3 more albums that are in the can right now that are going to be the next installments of Fuck Yeah.
Just hold on a minute, right? Hold on. Before you carry on, there's a lot of music.
I can't stop.
This is the thing. This is like one of the things that I noticed, because you dropped the 3 albums free. Who does free? You know, if you could have. Yeah, all right, cool, and he's doing all right for himself. But and now you got a 30-track album. Why so? Where's all this music coming from?
Well, the 30-track album was, you know, it started off. I had did these 3 albums like a live band album. I did all these records, man. I was doing 3 songs a day. But my thing is, music comes from a feeling, and it has to be great. I say I make a hit every time. I don't give a, you know what I mean? So we made all these records, but I was like, man, you know, I don't feel people are ready for this, and I feel like I need to get something else out. So around that time, at that time I was working with my music partner, who's still, you know, throughout this whole process, he's my main man. His name is Chevin Morris, and also my boy Tech Henrik. I met him in a bar out in Malibu, and he had some ill beats, man. And so for the first time, I didn't have to produce. I could just speak, you know? And so the first 7 records we did, I was writing them. But then after about 7 records, I just started spitting them behind the mic, and just oh my God, it was like the most freeing experience.
The therapy, cathartic.
Because I say, you know, when you write a record, right, and you're writing something on paper, it's one dimension of what that expression is, because it doesn't give you the tone or the emotion you just see the words. So when you keep it inside of you, you can change it on the fly, and it's just still you know, it's not perfect until it comes out. And I started doing that, so 14, 15 records come out. Then I realized most of those records are 1 takes. You know what I mean? Yes, you punch in here and there, you know, you'll get 5, 6, 8 bars, whatever. But they're all my first takes, a lot of them. And I was like, wow, man, this is...
You trying to stunt on us quietly, innit, really? Saying something.
I'm stunning, baby. Hey, look.
Quite like, yo, one take. Yeah, one take.
It ain't no joke. I want to be among the greatest that's ever done it. You know, and so that's no secret. You know, I only do this to be on top.
Away from music, tell us a little bit about your background. Who are you? Because if I felt you on a track, and I was going to ask you this later, but I'll ask you now. If I felt you on a track, it's mixed up. Yeah, if I felt you know what I mean? Because I share a lot of the sentiments that you share, you know, expose on that. Who are you, man? What's your background? Because I heard about 4 different countries, heritages that you say you don't know anything about, really. So, who is Sky Gordon?
You know, I always say this. You know, in America, we lack culture. You know, there's a lot of black people, there's a lot of Hispanic people, and all this stuff. But our culture in America is America. You know, my dad is black. He don't know what tribe he's from in Africa. You know what I mean? And
does he know where he's from in Africa or the Caribbean?
I don't believe so. No. You know, I know we were slaves. We came from slaves. You know what I mean? That's our culture. You know, and so like, it's really interesting for me because I feel like what this world is going towards now is we have to establish our new culture. You know, and understand that like these old, when I go to India or when I go to different places, I see these people have such traditions and they have such respect for their land and all these things. We don't respect anything because our elders aren't passing that knowledge down. You know, there's so many broken homes in America and there's so many things that are messed up. And I just grew up in this whole thing where, you know, my grandfather's Berry Gordy from Motown and all these things, and I would go and have Christmas parties and see all these amazing people in this amazing house and all this stuff. And I grew up around other people that are really rich, but you know, I had a great family and everything, but I never had it like them, like everything you want in the world and all this stuff. And so I walked with people that are royalty and I befriend homeless people. So I have an understanding, I feel I have a balance of things, and I can speak to both types of people. So that's who I am, you know.
So I was going to ask, coincidentally, we ran a front page on Life and Style Entertainment section of the Voice newspaper with Berry Gordy on the front quite recently, about a month ago actually, so it's quite ironic you mention him. How do you connect with the black community, and how easy is it for you to connect with the black community given you straddle multiple?
I grew up experiencing a lot of racism because I was black. People calling me nigger and all this stuff, and you can even hear it mixed up that I said, you know, I thought it was my nickname, man, until my mom told me that I wasn't, you know.
I had to pull it up about 4 times, bro.
Bro, it's crazy because it's a funny word. If you don't know the meaning, it's a funny word, right? So I went to 12 different schools and started going to public schools, but then private schools. Then when I went to public schools, where there's a lot more people from the inner city, all the black people, they talk the way I talk because my family's from Detroit. You know what I mean? They hustle. They ain't no joke. You know what I mean? And so, I'm Sky, you know, and I used to always be pro-black because Tupac was my man. I was like this when I was younger. You know, I was around all the gangbangers and stuff. I was like, you know, but I feel the black community is definitely, it's a huge part of who I am. I mean, black people, man, I understand the struggle. I understand everything that we're going through with light skin, dark skin, whoever it is. And it's such a beautiful culture too, because that's where my soul comes from. I mean, you know, like, man, I don't know, man. I just feel that I definitely relate also to my white side. You know, they're Germans and Irish and Scottish. Beautiful, beautiful cultures and things like that. But at the end of the day, we have to realize we have to evolve. When people have these racist things against each other, how long could that last, man? How are we gonna make this world a paradise or what? You know, you gotta see the beauty in each culture, whether you're a part of that or not. And people fear what they don't understand. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like stuck in the middle, all this stuff, and so that's really what you're hearing in this album too. You know.
You know, it's funny because my kids are mixed race, and you refer to yourself as night and day. I love that. No, I love that. I love that. That was as real as it gets for me. Tell me something. What's it like being a 1 million? having 1 million views on YouTube on a track that you did on one single channel alone. I mean, it probably had 1 billion. I'm sorry, 1 million, 1 billion. Sorry, let me correct myself. Excuse me. 1 billion views on YouTube on one channel alone. The track probably had 1 billion views long before that across that platform. I'm scared of the number that it's got across all musical platforms since it was released. But what's it like being a man who's achieved that level of greatness? And yeah, what's that like?
You know, I've always felt this, but my grandfather put it the best way. He says, I'm down here. My accomplishments are up here. So I like to look at them, and it makes me feel good. But, you know, after achieving something like that, and you take that in, that's not my legacy. That's part of it. So now I'm on to moving forward and pushing myself forward, you know what I mean? But I mean, I feel it's beautiful, man. I'm so blessed, and I feel so thankful that we were able to touch the world, and all the people that come up to me are like, you know, I was going through such a bad time, and then I heard your song and it made me smile, and I was like, wow, that's beautiful, man. I'm so thankful to be part of that, and I'm so thankful for Fu to being one of my teachers, you know what I mean? He taught me so much, so I can never, you know, say anything like too crazy, because at the end of the day, he's a great man and a genius himself, you know. But, you know, in this success, you get fucked up in success. You get messed up. There's so many people pulling you, and there's so many temptations that different people handle it different ways, you know.
Yeah, I mentioned that track because that was so clean, so universal, a track that everybody could listen to across the world. There's some tracks on this album that you can't say the same thing about. Now, not everything is for everyone. I'm cool with that. But you seem to be comfortable with the word nigger in a way that might need explaining. Square it for me.
Well, I embraced it just how the black culture embraced nigger, because it was a derogatory term from the master, slave master, right? White people. Growing up, I'm light-skinned, right? I've been called nigger. I had to fight grown men when I was 15, 16, racist guys. Call you nigger, like all this stuff, saying it so like crazy. So then when I'm in the hood, you know what I mean, and I'm with my people, that's how we communicate. We embrace that, you know. We for me, I feel like I've lived such a life where I have to embrace that, and I see the beauty in it, and I see why the black culture sees the beauty in it, and that's the word for us. You know what I mean? I get it. I'm not like hating on anybody who's saying that, because I just don't even, a word is a word. But it's definitely part of how I express myself, because it's been a part of my life since I can remember. People have been calling me that, you know what I mean? And I just feel that, you know, it's really interesting, because I was so ghetto before we started LMFAO. I was making hip hop, man. I thought I was finna be the next Tupac. I was in the hood. I had my car, like, shit bumping, all the homie on the blocks. I was like, y'all finna do this, you know what I mean? Hood trap star, right? But then I started working with Fu, and we started going around these electro parties and stuff, and I kept saying nigga so much, and my whole shit was so ghetto. He was like, dude, you can't be talking to these white people, be like, you know what I mean? And so I had to, you know, being half black and half white, you learn to go back and forth between the worlds. But I was like so deep in it. So when you're hearing this album, it's just me. It's just me expressing myself, man. You know.
It's I love listening to it. I just got the impression that there were some parts of it that could have been best put on another album. But then I thought, I'm sitting there and I was thinking, why? You know, you can do what you want. And plus, if this is a 360 version of you in the form of music, I want to see that. You know, do you think that's done enough? Because people tend to play back the 30 tracks and be like, oh, it doesn't fit in with the theme. The theme was you though, so this is where I'm coming from.
If you see like the first 15 deal with chaos, the next 15 deal with consciousness. You know what I mean? That was the whole plan when we were putting
with Bon Appetit and those kind of tracks in between.
Yeah, you know exactly. But that's chaos, man.
Is that chaos? Sounds like you like to indulge.
Oh, I love it. I mean, come on, man. I'm a connoisseur, you dig? Yeah, feel me?
Let them know.
But nah, man. I mean, that's real life. You're hearing all this stuff. I'm just speaking my truth, you know. And so I felt also coming from the group that I come from and having so many people knowing me worldwide, I had to do something tremendous to tell people who I am. And so, and this is just the start, but I said I'm dropping 30 songs so people don't know, so people understand that it's not a fluke. Every song I'm spitting. You know what I mean?
No, definitely bars. There's definitely bars.
People don't think that a brother can spit. I came up spitting. I came up freestyle battling and winning. You know what I mean? So it's just really about doing something out of the box and doing it in a really, to me, great way. I just want to say this because I think this is really interesting. You know, as an artist, they always say, man, it's never done, you know. I don't believe it anymore. I worked on these songs so much, and I just sat there because I meditate, you know, and I just asked myself, is this complete yet? Then one day I was like, yeah. And I sat there and I listened to it, man, and I looked at my friends and I said, it doesn't matter what happens from this point on. We already won. We made an album that we love, and we just were jumping around. It was just like 4 or 5 of us. My boy right here, Reek, you know, we were at his house, and we were like, man, it was like the greatest. It was like
you just knew.
Grammy.
Yeah, you knew.
We knew.
Zillions. When we're talking about bars, we're talking about bars. If we're talking about bars, zillions. I was like, before I got over one line, I was like, you went hard on zillions, and then, what was it? Follow the light. Deep, calm. Like again, I felt you. You know what I mean? It was really interesting to listen to it because it's so different from everything that you've done before.
Yeah, and that's what I think people are going to be really surprised, especially with the new albums that I have in the can. I mean, man, like I'm such a student of music. I grew up listening to so many different types of music that I can sit in the studio and make a record. I make country records about strippers. You know what I mean? Like, it just how it connects in my mind it's all through my feeling. And so, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like the music comes through me, honestly.
How would you like it to be received by
the world? I truly want to help enlighten people, man. I want people to listen to this. Maybe it's amazing because there's something for everybody. You know, some people that are living more of a chaotic life, they'll resonate with more of the first 15 songs, you know, Bon Appetit, whatever. But then some people that understand spirituality and things, like I'm talking about crystals, like I understand crystals and things. Like there'll be something like somebody who's really deep and like a hippie or something will be like, whoa, you rapping and nobody raps about that type of stuff. Moldavite, like who knows about that type of crystal? You know, it's one of the most powerful gemstones you can get. But so I feel that what's going to happen is people are going to listen to this and they're going to start diving into it, and throughout the years they'll get into it deeper and deeper. So when somebody raises their consciousness, they'll listen to the second half and be like, oh wow, this makes a lot more sense to me now. So I want this music to grow with the world, you know? I want it to help enlighten the world and help everyone grow. Because that's what it did for me.
You touch on nutrition. You're a vegan? Are you not quite there yet? No. Yes, I'm talking about the balance that you found between the chaos, if you like, the weed and the drinking and the partying and the meditation and watching what you eat and how you eat. Talk to me about finding that balance and what you meant by looking after your nutrition.
Well, I feel like, man, you know, I just turned 30, and I want to do this for my whole life. And I'm going around the world. People I've seen 5 years ago, they look like they're 25 years older. They're just partying every night, doing everything. That's cool, you know. I like to smoke weed a lot. That's my thing. But I'm like, I'm always looking for the meaning of life, and it's about enjoying your life. You know, that's truly what it is. We're here to enjoy our life. And so I said, man, I want to feel good. I don't want to wake up in the morning feeling all crazy. And I had all these things. And so for like 3 or 4 years, I kept looking at different diets, this and that, the caveman diet or this diet. And I'd fast and I'd do all this stuff. And then I found my way. Dr. Sebi, R.I.P., bless. I feel he was one of my favorite. I mean, he is my favorite. He's one of my biggest idols because of the way he speaks so powerfully and with such conviction. And then I started learning about everything he was speaking about. The drink I'm drinking right now is his bromide powder. This right here. This is Dr. Sebi's bromide powder, sea moss, you know? And this is a lot of minerals and stuff. And it just helps us because we're deprived of minerals. All these plastic bottles and this water doesn't have nothing that the nature really meant for us to have. So I started learning to cook. I never thought I'd be a cook. But now I enjoy cooking like making music. Because you're going to enjoy it like, oh man, this is going to be bomb. And I know it's going to be good. And I know everything is fresh, you know? And so I feel that we as cultures and societies, over the years, over hundreds of years, we started getting comfortable with people serving us at restaurants and stuff. I don't know if that's real life for me. I'd rather grow food and make my own food and be self-sufficient. And that's really one of my biggest messages to the world is like, hey, we can't rely on these governments. I don't care where you're from. You can't rely on another, whatever that is to what happens right now if all of our system collapses and you go into the grocery stores and they only have 2 days of food, you know, all the people are going to rate it. That'll be gone in a few hours. How are you going to feed yourself, you know? And so it's time for the people to take the power of life back into their hands. And that's what I'm talking about, nutrition. And that's what I did with myself. Shout out Dr. Sebi, my brother. Love you, man.
R.I.P. Dr. Sebi for real. You mentioned that you lost a lot of money. How much?
I don't even know, man.
Give me a ballpark figure.
Millions. Millions.
Tens of millions?
No, you know, could be. I really don't even know how much money is owed to me or anything like that.
Have you left that all behind?
Yeah, I mean, you think in life, you got to forgive. This is something I say all the time. I say, hate is weight. Love is light. So I'm not even looking to go find this old money. I don't even care because I'm looking for my creation that I put my heart and soul to provide for me. And that's what I believe in, you know what I mean? And so I'm here and I put my whole faith in everything and fuck yeah, that's my life, man, that's who I am, you know what I mean? So, and I know it. It's not even a thing like, yo, I hope I know in my heart this is gonna be everything I imagine and more. That's, you know, that's what manifestation is all about.
Well, the world's your oyster, so where to next? I said the world is your oyster, you can do what you wish. Where to next? Who would you like to work with? How does it look in 12 months' time? Have you achieved all the things that you want to achieve, and what are they?
Oh man, we're just starting. Just starting. This is the first of 9 albums.
Are they all going to be 30 tracks long?
No, I don't think so. But they have something else special.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep that as a secret. You know, I'm very interested with music because my thing is I just want to make hit songs. That's all I care about, you know, like songs that resonate with the world. And believe it or not, the artist that I want to work with on the top of my list is Erykah Badu. She's my favorite female artist. And, you know, a guy that's every day I'm shuffling, you know, you wouldn't expect that. But, man, I'm a music historian. I love music, you know. And so that's an artist that I really, really want to work with at the top of my list. And, of course, there's like Denzel Curry, Joey Badass, you know what I mean? These cats, Russ. Like, I want to work with them, too. They're dope, you know. I'm feeling them. And that's a new energy. Like, all these cats are conscious. They're young and more conscious than a lot of the old heads, you dig? So I really feel them. And as far as the next 12 months, man, I see myself selling out every show, bigger than I've ever been before, touching the world, looking at the audience, people I imagine my shows, people experiencing, when you come to my show, it's like you took a drug. Because when I'm on stage, I literally catch the ghost. If I'm in the club, I catch the ghost.
Spirit, yeah?
I catch the spirit, man. It's in me, man. That's what fuck yeah. Everybody's going to be talking about fuck yeah. The whole world. That's 12 months. You know what I mean?
Well, good luck with all of it.
Thank you,
I appreciate your time, yeah?
Blessings.
Blessings.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Blessings.